Well, hello, and welcome to the PGH Writing Command Center for another podcast episode from God Bless the Keg Publishing, LLC. And we are here in the not-so-world-famous PGH Writing Command Center, and I am John Hausleben of God Bless the Keg Publishing, LLC. I am the flagship author, chief photographer, music review, music critic, do-everything guy here at God Bless the Keg Publishing, LLC, with a little help from my friends, and the friends are here today. And they have an extra friend that they brought with them today, and I'll explain that. But if you're a first-time tuner inner, then welcome. If you are a long-time listener and subscriber, then welcome back. And we're just thrilled you're here to join us. Today, we're very excited because we have the world-famous Jeff, the musical wizard, joining us for a podcast episode on the 5 best studio albums of progressive rock. Ooh, this is going to be amazing. And we're just, what are you laughing at? Progressive rock? Come on. We could do better than that. There we go. But before we get started on the podcast, I hope everybody has their little Orphan Annie decoder pins out, because this podcast is proudly sponsored by Corporate Facilities Group Incorporated, the leader in technical consulting, facilities maintenance, facilities management, and operations, as well as property maintenance and management services throughout America. And now CFG Incorporated is proud to announce a new department, a new initiative headed up by the amazing Mr. Steve McMillan. And let's give it up for Steve. Yeah, just talked to him yesterday about some things that he's got cooking. He's a great guy, just a wonderful man. Steve brings as many years of experience as he manages pre-construction services and estimating for residential development, residential renovations, and light commercial projects for CFG Incorporated. So before you spend big bucks on a project, let old Steve Aruski check out the contractor scope and price and make sure your hard-earned money is going in exactly the right place. Check them out on the web at www.corporatefacilitiesgroup1.com. That's www.corporatefacilitiesgroup1.com. We'd like to thank Lydia, Steve, Liliana, Summer the dog, and Smokey the kitty cat down there in beautiful Marietta, Georgia, for sponsoring the podcast. So that's fantastic stuff. Thank you. And just about every podcast, we like to mention a charity or a goodwill event. I had a number of them come in via email today and yesterday. The email is godblessthekegpublishing@gmail.com. Unfortunately, yesterday was a jammed up day. I didn't get a chance to read the emails and vet them out. So we're going to go to my standby, which is the Wounded Warrior Project. It is the nation's leading veteran service organization dedicated to improving the total well-being of post-9/11 wounded, ill, and injured veterans, service members, and their families. Innovative programs and life-changing services. They strengthen mental, physical, emotional, and financial wellness, empowering warriors and their loved ones to thrive while helping to prevent veteran suicide. So check it out, a wonderful organization, woundedwarriorproject.org. So here we are, and Jeff, I'm gonna welcome you to the not-so-world-famous Writing Command Center.
I'm proud to be here.
How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm having a good weekend, so I'm just going to try to continue to have a good weekend.
All right, and I understand that you've done a lot of research on your 5 best studio albums, and we've known each other's for what, 6-7 years, something maybe like COVID, something like that. And Jeff and I solve all the world's problems early in the morning at our primary sources of income, before anybody's even out of the rack, right?
Yep, we solve the problems, but we tell no one.
Not that anyone would probably listen to us anyway, but so welcome. And this is harder than you think.
It is.
Right? And I think the fact that Paulie restricts you to 5 and a couple honorable mentions, but you could have a tie too. I said you could have a tie, but no.
I don't, nope.
Okay, so, all right, so it's difficult to narrow it down when you only have the 5 selections. Do you want to give a shout out to anybody? Maybe your friends, your wife, your family?
I will give out a shout out to my wife, Jessica, and my kids, Veronica and Matthew, who put up with my prog music. They don't appreciate it, but they put up with it.
All right, well, there we go. That's a fantastic. I'm going to give a shout out to the board of directors, right? We have Kim, I guess we have to put Eric on the board of directors now, right? And Lissa. And so, anyway, shout out to them. So here we are. I think you had mentioned, when did you get into prog? You know, what got you to the point where you were like, hey, this music's kind of cool. This is something I want to listen to.
Mid-'80s, prog had kind of disappeared. I mean, there were some leftovers, some hangers on. But I listened to Fragile.
Right.
And it was like, this is good.
Okay.
I like this. Oh, I know who that guy is. I know who that guy is. And then I listened to the second album. I listened to the third album. I listened to 90125.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it was interesting to see where they were as to where they were to what they had become in the 80s.
Right.
There's got to be more to this.
Okay.
And then I went from there to a couple other bands. And you and I have mentioned they're like the 5 big bands.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've only picked up really one of them.
Okay.
But I appreciate the others.
Okay. So how long you been listening to prog? 25, 30 years evolution?
83, 84.
Okay.
So however many that year,
Yeah.
that's 40 plus years.
And my romance with prog started because of NEWFM 102.7 in New York City, the famous Where Rock Lives FM radio station and I've talked about that on my radio podcast, the Scott Muni, Allison Steele, all those legendary DJs. And of course, we've talked about free play and the fact that the DJ could do whatever they wanted back then and all that. And Allison Steele in particular would spin Renaissance. She usually opened up she came on at midnight and she had that sexy, sultry voice. And very often it would be the song Prologue. And Renaissance would open her show for each evening. And she would play a ton of Yes. And also ELP. And I don't remember Genesis being in her spin list. Gentle Giant, those kind of, more the symphonic prog. And I started to get into that. And the first prog rock album I technically bought on my own was Fragile. But yes. And then for Christmas, I think the following year, I got Close to the Edge. And that set me off on a journey of Yes. And then once you're into Yes, you're into all the prog rock. So that was my infancy. So, but of course, I'm old. So, so I think I'll go first. Is that okay?
Oh, that's perfectly fine.
All right. So I'm going to start. And we do 5 to 1, with 5 being an exceptional record and 1 being the best of the best of the best of the best. And we always stick a couple honorable mentions in there. So I'm going to start with one on mention. My on mention, I got the CDs right here, is Renaissance, Ashes Are Burning. And boy, Jeff, I had a hard time getting between 3 of Renaissance's records. And I finally picked Ashes Are Burning. It was Turn of the Cards. Scheherazade and Other Stories is a great record, although I never really got that record as good as I got these 2, Turn of the Cards and Ashes Are Burning. And I picked Ashes Are Burning because of At the Harbor. I think it's just an absolutely amazing cut, using the great Annie Haslam as an instrument with her remarkable multi-octave voice. 4 or 5, I don't even know what her range, but the thing about Renaissance, and you had mentioned you don't listen to Renaissance.
I never really got into the whole pastoral side of prog, because to tell the truth, I didn't realize that it was a thing for the longest time. The closest I came to that was John Anderson singing some more a little pastoral stuff in
the ethereal vocals,
but nothing that was completely Annie Haslam, anything that was, I just blanked out the name of the group with Richard Thompson and
Fairport
Convention. I just never really got into that side of it.
And the thing about Renaissance is that obviously Annie dominates with this remarkable voice and the remarkable range, and she was quite an attractive woman. I saw them at Carnegie Hall. Michael Dunford wrote the majority of the music, and he would steal some classical pieces and introduce them in there, and he wrote the lyrics with Betty Thatcher, who was a poet. Dunford would send her the music, the tapes, and she would add the lyrics to them. But the musicianship on here is amazing. John Tout on piano is remarkable talent. Never gets mentioned in keyboard players, either in prog or anything else. John Camp dominates on bass here, especially on Ashes Are Burning. And it was, I think, Terrence Sullivan on drums. I believe Annie Haslam of the classic lineup of Renaissance is the only surviving member. Now, Renaissance came out of the Yardbirds. It came out of what was left of the Yardbirds, yeah.
I'd like to hear how that happened.
Yeah, it's a fascinating. So at any rate, I did pick Ashes Are Burning. Renaissance is my on mention. Now, when you came in, I was spinning Brain Salad Surgery, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and that's my number 5. I actually, like you, I was flip-flopping a little bit, and I said, well, Renaissance belongs in 5, and I'm going to put ELP to the on mention, but I stuck with my original selection. The thing about Brain Salad Surgery is, and it's a filthy name, the references, I'm not going to go into what they're actually, it's a slang, but it's a crude slang. But at any rate, it messes with your mind. And that's I guess why ELP picked it. But other than Benny the Bouncer, which I happen to like because I happen to like the pint of Guinness getting poured over Benny's boots, but the drumming by Carl Palmer is just remarkable. Not only on Carnival 9, the long tracks, but on Toccata, the interpretation of Alberto, I think it's Alberto, classical piano piece. And Keith Emerson actually traveled to, I believe, South America to meet with him. He played Toccata to get permission to re-record it in this fashion. But my gosh, Carl Palmer on this, it's a headphone listen. It's the most remarkable demonstration of the great Carl Palmer's ability. And you're not an ELP guy.
Well, the thing is, I'm not a big fan of a lot of their stuff. Mm-hmm. However, on an individual basis, when it comes to keyboards, there's almost nobody better. Right. And when it comes to drums, I could watch Carl Palmer drum all day, and considering that some of my other favorite drummers are dead, he's the only one I have a chance to possibly see in the future. Mm-hmm. So, but I mean, if you could go online and watch some videos of Carl Palmer doing Fanfare to the Common Man.
Right.
And he's killing it.
Yeah.
No matter who else is around him, he is killing it.
Yeah. And that's how Brain Salad Surgery was for me. I do like Trilogy. I like Tarkus, Pictures at an Exhibition. All those I enjoy. But Brain Salad Surgery is just, it's just a remarkable masterpiece. It really is. And the cover art. Remember. The cover art has the very weird, almost sci-fi type look. In the old cardboard days, you would fold it out and get the whole picture. Here's an interesting, so you're an amazing trivia guy. Jeff, the musical wizard, is also the trivia wizard. So the cover artist is H.R. Geiger, who also designed the alien for the movie Alien.
I do know that. It's wonderful art. Wonderful art.
Yeah. So that's H.R. Geiger. So there you go. So that's my number 5, right? So at number 4, we have the Yes album. And I think I'm gravitating towards great bass because I mentioned John Camp in Renaissance and Chris Squire. And I know this is where Steve Howe makes his appearance and Yes starts to get their groove, and it's got John Anderson's weird lyrics, but not totally off the wall where you can't figure out what he's doing here. But the bass playing and the interaction with Billy on drums and Chris Squire on Yours Is No Disgrace it's just one of the most remarkable pieces ever. Even if you're not a prog rock person, if you're just a straight rock and roll, you have to admire how that pluck, pluck, pluck sound of Chris Squire with those huge fingers just takes control of the song, Jeff.
I mean, I have to agree with you. It's on my list as well.
Okay. All right. And there's truly not a bad cut on here. I mean, if somebody wanted to say that John Anderson's little ditty, A Venture, is maybe a filler, it's not. It's really well written. It's got a catchy, it's well produced.
That is my least favorite song on
Usually
the entire
everybody
album.
is.
And because I heard it and I listened to it, and for some reason, all I can think of is the song Dreamer by Supertramp.
Yeah, there's a similarity.
It doesn't sound exactly like it, but it has this feel of a Supertramp song. And then John sings.
Yeah.
And you're expecting Roger to sing. And it just throws me off just enough to go that, hey, let's go to the next song. We're almost done with the album anyway. Right.
But the fade in, Eddie offers on the engineering on this, but it's got that piano kind of up tempo, and then it kind of wiggles in there, and then it starts the main melody. So typical prog rock, shorter song, but there's multiple layers to that song. And John Anderson, of course, dominates on the vocals. So the Yes album is, it is a masterpiece. I mean, we have Yours No Disgrace, Starship Trooper. I've seen All Good People, Adventure, Perpetual Change. I don't want to steal your thunder, Jeff. You could go in on your own. Number 3 is, and you knew this would happen, is Jethro Tull.
Surprise.
Thick as a brick. Surprise. Another masterpiece. And Thick as a Brick, Ian Anderson's a musical genius, but he's also pretty eccentric. And being a fellow eccentric guy, I'm a goalie. There's my old goalie mask up there, Jeff. So, goalies are weird and eccentric, and then you put all the other layers of Paulie writing and the photography and the music and all. So I relate to Ian Anderson, and having some UK heritage on my dear mom's side. This is all a spoof. This is so funny. And Ian Anderson, they kept saying concept albums. You write concept. And he's like, no, I don't. But I am going to write one. And people took it seriously, the famous newspaper cover here.
They read it as if it was news.
Yeah, a judge disqualifies Little Milton in a last-minute rumpus. And this is on CD, obviously, but it's much more fun on the original cardboard art, and it's fantastic. They got the picture of the principal giving the... But the thing about Thick as a Brick is there's literally one song, Thick as a Brick, but it's just the classic prog because of all the different things going on in there. And I can't imagine how difficult this was to put together and rehearse. I mean, Jethro Tull's band members must have been like, what? What are you doing here? I mean, it goes on and on and on. It's 50 minutes? 48. So, at any rate, Thick as a Brick, that's my third selection. And I know you're not a Tull guy.
It's not that I'm against Tull. Mm-hmm. They never struck me with the song. The song makes you go, oh, that's the song for me.
Right.
And then his voice to me, it's a little limiting, but he's wise enough not to push outside of that limit that he has. This is my voice. This is how I sing. Accept it. Don't. This is how I sing.
Right.
And whereas I listen to, like I said, Yes. Mm-hmm. And that you're listening, half the reason you're listening is John Anderson and some of his nonsense lyrics sometimes, because the voice is an instrument.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Annie Haslam.
So it's just two different schools. Not one's better than the other. Right. One hit me, one did not.
Right. And of course, I love the flute.
Yeah.
Ian Anderson's application of the flute in rock, prog rock. And
because he's the only flautist.
Yeah, I took offense to that when I saw an interview with him, and he was like, I'm the only one. That's not true. I mean, we've got Focus and the Moody Blues and plenty of other, Camel, plenty of other bands that picked up the flute.
Even in his own band.
Even in his own band, yeah. Martin would play the flute, particularly in concert. When Ian Anderson's noodling around doing other stuff, all of a sudden you realize that Martin is playing the flute, and he's very, very good. Different technique, so you kind of knew right away something was happening different. But Thick as a Brick is a masterpiece. The whole intertwining of all these band members to get this down, and I've seen them do it live. Which is, you don't have the ability to dub. Mm-hmm. You don't have all those studio things, and they do it just as well. There are some recorded tracks that they would use. It's amazing.
Through his classic line of Jethro Tull with the ever-changing members, which is another prog thing, ever-changing members.
Right.
He hired well up to a point. Because I can tell you, Mick Abrams, good.
Yep.
You're talking Jeffrey Hammond,
right?
You're talking Martin Barry.
Mm-hmm.
These are above exceptional players.
Yeah.
So I mean, good hiring, not good keeping, but good hiring.
Yeah. Yep. John Glasscock on bass, then Clyde Bunker, the original drummer, Barrymore Barlow, who is totally underrated, and John Bonham said the greatest English drummer is Barrymore Barlow. There's no one that could play those complicated time signatures of Jethro Tull and Ian Anderson's composition. He said, I couldn't do it. The thing about Anderson is, obviously, he dominates. A lot of people say, oh, yeah, they think Ian Anderson's name is Jethro Tull. and he dominates, but he did surround himself with exceptional musicians, and I think he's one of the greatest lead men of all time that never gets the recognition either. It's just the eccentric thing with the standing on the foot and the hair and everything, and I do like his voice. I like his voice,
and they won the Grammy.
So that was 3. So number 2 is going to be my controversial pick. And it's Love Over Gold by Dire Straits, which when I wrote reviews, and if you listen to my Dire Straits podcast where I rated their studio albums, people would say, oh, come on, Paulie, that's not prog rock. No, it is. It is absolutely prog rock. And I've been vindicated now all these years later, as it is usually slipped into the genre of prog rock and art rock. But this is prog. And the masterpiece known as Telegraph Road is, of course, I'll do my 5 best prog rock songs of all time, but I don't want to dwell a long time on Love Over Gold because I've covered it so much in my other podcasts. But Telegraph Road is a masterpiece. It's 18, something like that. And there aren't many other cuts on there. The title track, you have Industrial Disease, definitely a little spoof song, prog there. Absolutely love Private Investigations with the marimba, which is like a xylophone played with mallets. And we were talking the other day how Mark Knopfler sought out certain musicians to help him, Mel Collins and Roy. And he sought out this fella who plays this unique instrument, and it just fits that song, the mysterious, deep, dark, definitely progressive rock, an amazing record, absolutely a masterpiece.
How many minutes was Telegraph Road?
Telegraph Road is 18. The writing's small here, and I'm old. So, no, correction. It looks like 14 minutes and 39 seconds.
By definition, that's prog.
It is. And the thing about Knopfler, he's the master of tempo. He brings you way down and he brings you way up. The intro is kind of a long intro, and I want to say it's done in the chord of G. And as you can see, Jeff, I don't have notes here. I'm just doing it from my memory. And it goes on a little while. And then, of course, the main theme and the main melodies start to kick in. And he brings you way up, and then he brings you way down, brings you way up, which is a Knopfler technique. And it's a prog rock technique. So I've been vindicated all these years later. People do list this as progressive rock. So my number 1 is Close to the Edge by Yes. And as much of a masterpiece as Telegraph Road is, this is the ultimate masterpiece. I don't know how they ever came up with this. This is virtuosos. This is the most amazing put together, and including Eddie as the engineer. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that Yes ever achieved such greatness in Tales of Topographic Oceans, and I do like Relayer and Gates of Delirium, but this is the ultimate masterpiece. And how they pieced it all together. And of course, you have And You and I too. I love the intro where he blows it and starts it, and they left it in there. I like that. ELO did that too on the song. And then you have Siberian Khatru, and you have the whole story of losing the tape and throwing it in the dumpster, and they had to get the tape out and dub it in, and total masterpiece. I don't think there's too much dispute that people will say Close to the Edge is Yes's greatest achievement. What you got, Jeff?
Well, I'm going to do a little backup on that one. I mean, that's the point. I think that was the second album with Wakeman.
With Wakeman?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I mean,
he came in at Fragile, yeah.
You changed over from a very competent, very good Tony Kaye.
Yeah.
Who played his style of music.
Right.
But it wasn't the music that Yes was going towards.
Right.
And then you get somebody, the number 1 keyboard session player in England at the time.
With huge classical training.
Huge classical training and over-the-top thought processes, and what he ended up writing, what he ended up playing. Some of what he came up with is brilliant.
Right.
Some of what he came up with should have remained in the garbage can.
Yeah. And Rick I love Rick, but he's guilty of those fiddly bits, you know, particularly on his solo work. He goes off and he's filling in with these fantastic things that nobody else can do, and it's just like fiddly bits. That's what I call it.
And then he backs it up with King Arthur on ice.
Yeah, skating around. But I think Close to the Edge is If you go to most prog sites, they'll rate this number one. And for Paulie, it is number one. I love the cover art too. We're going to do a cover art podcast. I'm set on that. So just to recap, we have Ashes Are Burning, Renaissance. As an on-mention, we go to Brain Salad Surgery, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Number 4 was the Yes album. Number 3 is Thick as a Brick by Jethro Tull. Number 2 was Controversial, Love Over Gold, Dire Straits. And number 1, Close to the Edge by Yes. What do you think, Jeff?
I agree with some. I don't fully. I'll say this. It's not that I disagree. I still have never listened to the Mark Knopfler album, so I can't. Okay. I can't judge it.
Yeah.
It might be the best thing ever created. I don't know, so I can't tear it apart. I know he's a great player. Right. Again, he's somebody who hired very well.
Yes.
So, I mean, she's starting off in the plus column. I just need to listen to it so I can decide whether it needs to stay.
Okay.
In the plus column.
You've never listened to Telegraph Road?
I've never listened to Telegraph Road. I've never listened to that entire album.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I've also never listened to the full Thick as a Brick.
Okay.
I've heard cuts from Thick as a Brick.
All right.
But I mean, I have more experiences with his music than I do with Knopfler's. So.
Okay, fair enough. And so here you go, Jeff. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to take a few notes here, and you got the helm here. You got the con.
Okay, I started with my honorable mention.
Okay.
And I've already given you a warning on this one.
Oh.
It's the Beatles.
Jeff, it's been great having you on the podcast today. Thanks for stopping by. I knew it was coming, but still, the shock waves, and as many listeners and personal friends, people who know me, I am not a Beatles fan, but go ahead. I don't want to steal your thunder.
You and I have talked about what makes prog.
Mm-hmm.
And amongst those things are virtuosity.
Yep.
Length of songs, concepts.
Yep.
And great engineering.
And storytelling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Sgt. Pepper's.
Oh, I knew you'd pick Sgt. Pepper.
It was going to be that or Revolver, so yeah.
Thank you for not picking Revolver.
But I think it's one of those cases where they did good music. They were not virtuosos on the same level as a Rick Wakeman.
Right.
But each one of them was more than competent at their instrument. And together, I think they became close to a I can't even say it. Virtuosity band.
Right.
George Martin, production.
Right.
He took what could have been an ordinary, what's going on with this sort of stuff album, and took it to a whole nother level.
Okay.
Now, is it the best prog I've ever heard? No.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew I had to get the Beatles in here somehow. And it was going to be with my honorable mention.
So, what's your favorite cut on Sgt. Pepper?
Day in a Life.
Okay. For the trivia, that famous cover picture where everybody's on there, do you know William S. Burroughs, the beat writer, is in that cover?
Well, he is there, and so I hope Fatty Arbuckle is also in that cover. Yeah. Sonny Liston.
Sonny Liston, yeah.
I mean, half the fun, if you know old things, is I recognize that person too.
It is a fun cover, yeah. So, okay.
Which goes back to the whole good artwork on an album makes it interesting.
Absolutely.
I mean, and I'm just going to go off on a little tangent right here.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're talking prog bands. Hypnogus, I'm saying that wrong.
Right. They did Pink Floyd. And
They did Pink Floyd, they did Peter Gabriel.
Right.
You're talking Mark Wilkinson, who did Marillion, and he did like the first 5 of their albums.
Right.
And these bands would just choose, oh my God, what is that on the cover?
Right.
In both good and bad ways. I've got to go find out.
Roger Dean.
Roger Dean. Yeah. Hemispheres. Why is there a naked man on the front of Hemispheres?
Pointing
at a man wearing a suit and carrying a cane. I gotta find out why.
Yeah, and Yes used a bare backside on Going for the One too, right?
Well, and technically Starman from the
Starman, yeah.
On the was that 2112?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so
we've got to do a cover art podcast because you hit on a good note there, Jeff. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that was my honorable mention.
All right, we still love you. Keep going.
Rush was originally going to be Hemispheres.
Oof.
But I last minute this morning I took it out. I was trying to force it in because of La Phyllis Strangiata.
Right, I know you like that cut.
It's a magnificent cut. They are a band who don't get enough credit for their instrumentals.
Right.
That song in YYZ. Instrumentalized, there's nothing better. Made by 3 men playing like 5 instruments all at the same time.
Yeah, Rush is the only 3-man band that sounds like 100.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I would hate to have been Geddy Lee I'm playing keyboards, I'm playing bass,
right?
I'm hitting pedals, and I'm singing all at the same time.
Yeah.
That's why now they have a keyboard player on their tour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a little older now.
Most deaf.
So what'd you pick?
I ended up doing Farewell to Kings.
Okay. Yeah, I can't go wrong with that.
Because I had to throw them in there. They deserve it. They were prog when it wasn't very popular to be prog because it was after the heydays of the ELPs.
Right.
And the Jethro Tulls and the Genesis.
Right. And they were Canadian.
What, that's a plus.
Yeah. A little niche.
I mean, you have Xanadu, based on Kubla Khan. Samuel Coleridge.
Yeah.
You got Closer to the Heart. That's the closest they've ever come to a pop song.
Absolutely.
But it's still a wonderful pop song.
Yeah.
Cinderella Man.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody just trying to do better in this world. Nothing wrong with that. And also very Canadian.
Very Canadian.
Very Canadian. A Madrigal, it was a short little song. It was there. It filled a space.
Right.
And then Cygnus X1.
Okay.
Which I think is an interesting concept. Ooh, astronaut in space going through a hole.
Right.
Whoa. But then it appears also on Cygnus X1 Part 2 on the Hemispheres. They didn't need to continue it. I think the first half
should have just left it, right?
I could have left it right there. So that's why I didn't do Hemispheres, because there were 2 songs I liked and 2 songs I put up with.
Right. So, how long a cut is that? Did you happen to put that in your notes?
For which one? Cygnus X1?
Yeah.
I did not write that.
Okay.
Down. I'm so sorry.
It's a pretty long cut, though, right?
It is a very long cut. I mean, because it's
got to be 8 minutes, 9 minutes.
I think their second side of that album was only 3 songs. So yeah, it took up a good portion of it, and I don't think the entire album lasted over an hour.
Okay.
Now I did my.
And that's a great point, and that was another deciding factor that I bumped Renaissance to on mention rather than Brain Salad Surgery, because Ashes of Burning is only about 45 minutes long, and when that title track ends, you kind of wanted it to be a little bit more. 45 minutes a little short.
Well, but the same thing is yes, that was 8 minutes or however long. There was also part of me going, is it ever? No, here we go more.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, I can listen to Rush.
Right.
But every once in a while on some of their longer songs, I'm like going, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Next song. But I don't want to fast forward through it. I don't want to miss it.
Right. Carnival 9 is like that a little bit on Brain Salad Surgery. You start to find yourself a little disinterested because it's just wandering. Go ahead. Okay. I'm sorry.
No problem. 4 is Marillion.
Ooh, and I spun this band a lot this week, so I'm really interested. Go.
Misplaced Childhood. It was their 3rd album. It was their first big hit.
Right.
They had appeared on Terry Wogan doing Kaylee. And England just ate it up.
It's a great cut.
It is a great cut. And it made them bigger than they ever thought they would be.
Right.
And that's kind of part of the problem. Is if you look to the first 2 albums, this is about a man trying to figure out who he is. Not everything is exactly that. But on the 3rd album, he's looking back, a refugee, an orphan. He wasn't really, but this is growing from that little boy into the rock star. Right.
So he's telling a story, which is a prog rock requisite. Yeah,
well, that's it exactly. And he's not always happy with everything he sees.
Mm-hmm.
But he fell in love with a beautiful woman, Kaylee.
Right.
He messed it up.
Mm-hmm.
And so he goes to the bar, Heart of Lothian.
Right.
He's drinking his problems away.
Right.
And plus, there's another thing that I just love about them. In that album in particular, I find them a little moody bluesish. And I told you this because every once in a while, he just stops singing and he just switches to that Scottish brogue, which he has naturally.
Right.
And, and quote a part of another song or quote a part of a poetry, or even worse, poetry that he wrote himself.
And
when he
Nights in White Satin.
Well, yeah, it's like be the familiar of an obscure Scottish poet.
Right.
Ooh, that's a Robert the Bruce reference. I'm going to have to look that up.
Right.
Good music, great players.
Right.
And this is where I'm going to mention something else that I came up with, and you said it already. Very first thing that I said to you when we first started talking about music, who are your favorite bass players?
Yeah.
I think anybody in this world can name who their favorite guitarist or their favorite drummers is.
Yeah. It's a more popular instrument. If
you ask them who their favorite bass player, that's a thought process. That's somebody who goes, hey, let me think about it. On my bands here, 4 of the players that I respect almost most in this world appear on my list.
Right.
Pete Trevavis, who is playing bass for Marillion, is not on that list. He probably never would. He's good. He's good for his band. And there's another one coming up who would probably make the top 20.
Okay.
But my top 10, 3 of them are the extra echelon of bass players is on there, and we discussed this before.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I mean, it was. I enjoy Marillion. It was neo prog. It was another group that was coming up as prog in a time where there wasn't a lot of prog.
Yeah, and it is neo prog, and everybody says that prog went out of favor because they just got a little too pretentious or whatever. But punk came up and pushed it out, and the popularity of the ebb and flow. But I think Marillion is a very important band because they bridged. They started a bridge after the Yeses went out of vogue and everything, although Yes keeps coming back reincarnated. But so maybe that's a bad example. ELP and Renaissance. And a band like Marillion comes and bridges from that punk and just goes with this really unique progressive rock. So neo-prog is an important subgenre within prog rock.
Yeah, and they weren't the only ones. There was Dream Theater. There was other bands who kept prog alive.
Correct. Whether Porcupine Tree, maybe.
Yes, Porcupine Tree is actually a very good example.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, number 3.
Ooh, here we go.
Number 3 is, just make sure I'm not skipping here. Yes Songs.
Oh,
I agree with you.
The Yes album, you mean?
The Yes album, sorry.
Yes.
Album.
Yes Songs was a live record they did, yeah. Mm-hmm.
The Yes album, I agree with you. I mean, going from, first place, pick up your version of
the Yes album?
Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm. What is the second song?
I'm going to say it's a venture.
No.
Clap. See,
that's the thing. It was originally Clap.
Right.
On later pressings, it became The Clap. I don't think that's a great title. You should give a song.
Yeah, and that's a misnomer, and Steve Howe was very upset about that because it is simply Clap. Yeah.
And I got to tell you, I had already listened to, I think I told you, I'd listened to Fragile first.
Right.
I didn't realize he was a guitar picker. I knew he played guitar.
Yes.
I didn't realize he was a guitar picker. That song is just flat out fun.
It is.
And it's something that I didn't expect from a band who is so somber and so we're going to be playing this in 1579ths and
are you talking about Howe's solo?
Yeah, I mean,
Mood for a Day.
No, I'm talking about the Clap.
Oh, Clap is fun.
He had
so
fun.
is Mood for a Day.
And you don't see that very often in a lot of prog music.
No. He's an intense dude.
Oh, he is.
He's an intense dude, and he can be grumpy. I think I told you about that concert I went to. He was real grumpy, but obviously one of the greatest guitar players of all time. But Clap is so much fun.
It is a lot of fun. I mean, and then I've seen All Good People.
Right.
You mentioned the bass. Chris Squire is on my list.
Yes.
He plays it like a lead instrument, but not to the detriment of I'm hogging the spotlight.
Right.
But it is so prog. It's almost funk.
Yeah, it
almost
is.
Funk.
It is. He's got that plucky thing going on. Yep. Yeah.
So that was wonderful. Okay, now the last song, Perpetual Changes.
Right. Mm-hmm.
If you told me that they had already told Tony, you're out the door, dude. And if you told me that they told him he was being replaced by Rick Wakeman.
Right.
That is the most Rick Wakeman I've ever heard him play.
Yeah. He was very good on this record.
He was very good, but he really didn't want to go towards the whole Moog and multiple synthesizers and the I forget, there wasn't Moog. What's the one that Mike
the Mellotron?
They wanted Mellotron. They wanted something that Wakeman played, and he played a lot of those things.
Oh, I played everything, like all at once.
I mean, and this band is another one kind of like we were saying, Ian Anderson hired a lot of good people. Chris Squire hired a lot of good people. It was his band and John's.
Right.
But John eventually left too. There were, by the time 90125 came out, I think it was 11 or 12 different Yes members in that band. Yeah. And that's not even me counting after Chris Squire died.
Right.
Because I only count one of those players anyway.
Right.
And that's Billy.
Billy Sherwood. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was Igor and a whole bunch of others. There was Oliver, who was Rick's son.
Yeah. Wakeman. Yeah. And of course, we had Patrick Moraz make an appearance and then get pushed out after he did a really good job on Relayer.
And the only man I know who has been skipped by the Hall of Fame twice. Both of his bands made it in there, and they both said, no, not him.
Yeah, I don't understand that. But the Chris Squire performance on the Yes album makes me just in awe, but it also makes me want to sometimes say it's as good, not better than Close to the Edge, but it's close. It's a more catchy album than other prog. I mean, All Good People is a beautiful melody. Your Move and all that. It's and I think Yes was good at writing great melodies.
It's a prog song about chess and love.
Chess and love. Gosh, that's prog.
It doesn't get better than that.
No, it does not.
Okay, I got number 2. Number 2 is, I just blanked out on my list. Where is it? Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here.
Oh, okay. Nothing wrong with that. Yep.
I mean, you've just done the best album, most selling album of all time.
Right.
How do you follow it up?
Mm-hmm.
You don't try to go bigger.
No.
You try to go small. You try to go closer.
Right.
You talk about what's going on in your mind, and they missed their bandmate, a man who they loved and respected,
right.
who just couldn't handle the pressures,
right,
of being a rock star.
Right. Yeah.
And you got the "Wish You Were Here" song. 1 through 5, I think, is the first part.
Right.
Second half of the second album is like 6 through the end.
Mm-hmm.
Great songs. I mean, I love the fact that at the beginning of the song you have Rick Wright, and he's just playing this atmospheric, and then all of a sudden you get some guitar music.
Mm-hmm.
But when they get down to the actual beat and the drums coming in, which, by the way, the drums and the bass perfectly in sync on that song.
Right.
Fantastic. Love it. I got to hear more. And so I listened to the rest of it. And of course, my all-time favorite songs, and I have told you I have like 5 or 6 favorite songs.
Correct.
And one of them appears on this album.
Okay.
And I mean, it's not Shine On You, not Shine On You, Crazy Diamond, which is what I should have said. I said Wish You Were Here. Wish You Were Here. One of my all-time favorite songs.
Right.
And part of it is a very personal reason. First place, loved it.
Right.
But when I lost my house due to a tree falling in the middle of it, some neighbors took us in, and the father was playing,
Right.
And that's the song he played. So I just sang that song. It's a song of comfort.
Absolutely.
For me, it does a lot for me. When I come out of anesthesia, I find I sing that song. I sing a Nick Drake song.
Right. You like Pink Moon, right?
I love Pink Moon.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it just, these songs calm me. So I almost kind of like an acoustic version of prog.
Right.
And I mean, I can listen to it right now. If you say, hey, we're going to listen to All of Wish You Were Here, I'd be like going, there's no problem with this decision.
Right. And so what makes you pick that as opposed to Dark Side? Well,
Dark Side was a little bit of an obvious.
Mm-hmm.
And, you could very easily justify it. But I like I said, I feel a little bit more personal. The second, Welcome to the Machine and Have a Cigar. These are men who are bitter from having some interactions with the music industry. Because it is an industry. It is a job.
Yeah, it's money. It's
about the art, but it's money.
Which is another Pink Floyd song.
Which is. and I love the fact that on Have a Cigar, they didn't sing it.
Right.
They brought in Roy Harper. I want to say Charlie Harper. Roy Harper, who I know of, but I really don't know his music.
Right.
Because that character in that song is the industry person. They can't sing the industry person's point of view.
Right.
They got him. And he's saying all the things. You're really just fantastic. You're going to go far. We can come together as a team.
Right.
By the way, which one's Pink?
Yeah.
Same thing as, by the way, which one's Jethro?
Right.
So, I mean, it's very much, I can see where they are bitter by all that. And apparently that which one's Pink happened to them.
Right.
Quite a bit.
Which one's Floyd?
Yeah. Those two and those two.
All right.
So, I mean, that is that. I mean, I can continue talking about this. I think it was wonderfully engineered. I don't know who did the engineering, but I just love it. I just love it.
Nothing wrong with that selection.
Number 1.
Ooh, here we go.
First, I got to start out with, I don't like Genesis.
I know. And I'm not a fan either. I've tried Lamb and all the other stuff. It's just not for me.
I mean, which is ridiculous because look who they have in the band.
Yeah.
You got Steve Hackett. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
You got Phil Collins, where a lot of people call him a hack, especially through his later pop stuff.
The pop stuff, yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's a wonderful drummer. You had Anthony on keyboards. I don't have a lot to say about Rutherford. I can't judge him. I don't know his stuff well enough. But Peter Gabriel, I'm like, I love Peter Gabriel. I have all the Peter Gabriel up through Us, and I'm going to listen to some Genesis.
Right.
And I listened to Lamb Lies Down on Broadway.
Right.
And turned it off, and I've not listened to it ever since.
No, and we talked about the big 5: Genesis and King Crimson, yes, ELP, Jethro Tull. So, yeah, but I cannot get into Genesis. I can't. And Collins is a great talent. he actually did a charity where he showed up on stage with Knopfler and Eric Clapton and a bunch of others, and he Cooper, that we always talk about. Ray Cooper. Mr. Percussion, and they did Money for Nothing for charity, and he did a great job on it. He's a very, very versatile drummer.
You and I both like a good session man.
Yeah, that's a great session man. Well, Eric Clapton playing rhythm to Mark Knopfler, so that shows you the respect that Eric Clapton had for Knopfler.
And I don't think I like Eric Clapton either, but he was there, so I got to respect.
Yeah,
that.
And Sting, of course, showed up for the intro. But anyway, that's a sidebar. But yeah, Colin's a great talent.
But I mean,
go ahead.
My number one album is Peter Gabriel. It's the third one. It's the one they call Melt, because the first three are all called Peter Gabriel. Right. And so the first one is Peter Gabriel. His face was on a car. Second one, he's scratching his face. Third one, his face is half melting. Picture by Hippoglotus or whatever that's called. And it's just good. And I know I'm being very simple with this, but he released this album. This is the album where I think he found himself. Mm-hmm. So consequently, this was the album that Atlantic refused to release. Okay. He was dropped by Atlantic, Ahmet Erdogan, and I can't say his name correctly, and that's my fault, not his. Mm-hmm. Because he thought Peter had gone through the insane asylum after listening to this album, and we can't release a song by a crazy man. Ah, interesting. And by the way, this Biko song, nobody cares what's happening over there. Oh, wow. So, I mean, this is a very famous A&R executive, and he said, no, I don't think so. Wow. But, I mean, you talked about the marimba. He uses the marimba a lot on here. Ah. And they're using it I want to say it's to make you uncomfortable. He's doing these almost off notes. Which is pretty much Private Investigation. Same thing. That instrument is haunting. I mean, and like in the song called And Through the Wire, and they're just going through these notes. Do those two notes belong together? I don't know what's going on. What is this song about? Right. My all-time favorite is Family Snapshot. You mentioned that to me the other day. Yeah. That is another one of my all-time favorite songs. When I wake up, it's about an assassination told by the side of the assassin. So there's the storytelling. And he's picked some very wonderful plays. Jerry Moroder, he produced, he did Phil Collins. He gave a restriction on Phil Collins. Mm-hmm. He said, we're playing this entire album without cymbals. Oh, okay. Because he was under the impression that if you restrict somebody's choices, you're going to make them think wider with what you come up with. So when he was playing, he still played it like he was hitting the cymbals. They just put different things there so he wouldn't be hitting. He made his placebo instrument. Yeah, he made him think outside the box. Mm-hmm. It's wonderful. I keep saying the word wonderful. Sorry about that. Games Without Frontiers. It's a great word. Kate Bush on backup. Yes, singing in French. You mentioned that. Yeah. Jean sans frontières. Mm-hmm. Everybody's going, what is she saying? She's saying Games Without Frontier in French. Right. Again, he's teaching you the world history, and he's naming off leaders, and he plays with her, and he plays with them. It's Games Without Frontiers. And he's bringing international politics to a level that he's just really showing this is child's play. It's easy if you want it. You're making it difficult. Wow. The last one I'm going to mention, I first got to mention, my all-time favorite bassist is on this album. Okay. And that's Tony Levin. Yeah, I know you like Tony Levin. And he's playing the Chapman stick. He was playing one track of it, but he's on this album. I have to mention Tony Levin. Yeah. If I'm talking prog. Another, yes, right? He was their fill-in when for the Anderson Brookman Wakeman Howe. They chose him, and for a reason. Yeah. So Tony's above Chris Squire and Getty for you? Yeah, huh? Yeah. Wow. Okay. Because I've seen him play old jazz. I've seen him play prog. I've seen him play straight ahead music. Right. And then he does it with the Chapman stick, where he's basically playing two tracks at the same time. Correct. He also has these things called funky fingers. I don't know if you've ever seen them. He created mallets for your fingers. Oh, so yes, I have. He's actually beating on the strings rather than pulling on them. That's like when Keith Emerson opened the piano and played the strings. Well, that, or when you took the knife and just shoved it in the keyboard to hold the note. Yeah. Biko. Mm-hmm. At the beginning of this album, I feel like he's really showing, this is who I've become. That was where I was. This is where I'm becoming. This is who I'm becoming. This is who I am. Biko. He'd gotten an interest in world music, players from other countries, dances, artwork. He was becoming an international. Right. And so he formed WOMAD, which is World of Music and Dance. And Biko is the inspired story, a real story of Stephen Biko, who was murdered because he was standing up against apartheid. He was a man who was murdered in police custody by the police, and the world took notice.
Right.
So this is one of the first people who came out with a song about this. And the rhyme scheme is fairly simple. He's trying to keep it simple. He's not trying to make this multi-layered. In this song, this man was killed. This is horrible.
Right.
And he has, throughout the song, he's using South African singers in the background, singing in Tosa and a couple other things.
Right.
And I can't say Tosa right. Sa.
Yeah.
And that's the closest I can do, and that's wrong.
Some native languages.
Yes. And he, and they're singing about his spirit, and he's like, the eyes of the world are watching now.
Right.
And this is who he became in the future albums. If you listen to his Security, which was his next one, or what was the big one with Big Time, and was that So? That was So. He's getting more towards that, but this was definitely, we're starting off with a mission statement.
Right.
We're ending with a mission statement.
Right.
These songs, for the most part, are supposed to upset you. This is another song about assassination.
Right. So he really is a storyteller here, huh?
He's a storyteller, and he's going to talk about things you don't want to hear.
Right.
But you need to hear.
Right.
And it's just the level of talent, the level of drive. Again, he's another great person who hires very, very well.
So all these songs on your number one are written exclusively by Peter Gabriel.
I believe that every single one of them.
He didn't have a co-writer.
I don't think he co-wrote any of them because these were all so personal.
Right. So how far removed is Peter Gabriel's solo versus his Genesis prog time?
That's kind of hard for me to judge since I really don't listen to the Genesis stuff, because it just, I find it's not off-putting like in the way that, I got to hear more. Right. It's off-putting in, I'm not really interested in selling England by the pound. I'm not really interested in Foxtrot. Right. You did when he played Rail in The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. That one should have been one of the ones that I just gravitated towards. I pulled in, and instead it pushed me away. Yeah.
And then he got real poppy too, right?
Peter after So, he became a lot more popular. Yeah. And somebody told me about this, about a lot of this music that I've been listening to and listened to. A lot of these groups I listed were 30-year-old men writing about 30-year-old problems for other 30-year-old men. Yeah. And I really feel like I've listened to a lot of this stuff when I was 18, 19, 20. Right. It means more. It hits more. It hits me deeper than it ever did. So it's one of those things. Don't just listen to this brand new music. There's a lot of good new music. Yeah. But there's also a lot of really great old music that you're not going to give a chance to because it might as well be a black and white film. Yeah.
Yeah, it's faded. So we got a few more minutes here. So, Jeff, on your list, and thank you so much. You did a fantastic job on it. So are they all 5 stars? And you know how difficult I rate records. I don't give 5 stars to a lot of things.
I don't think they're all 5 stars because I don't think all of them are their best songs on some of them. Right. I think Peter Gabriel, yes, that's a 5-star.
That's a 5-star. Okay.
You want to give Yes songs? That's a 4. But
really?
It's also one of those things where if I could take that 2 songs from that album over there, replace them with these 2 songs.
So, yeah. So are you a guy that looks a music listener? You're a critic today, a reviewer. So to give it 5 stars, are you looking from opening cut to the last cut, and it's just consistently great throughout?
I am. I think the Marillion album is fantastic. I didn't say wonderful that time. But my all-time favorite 2 songs by Marillion, one is from the very first one, which is called Garden Party. Right. And my other favorite album song is from their 4th album, which was the last with Fish, called Sugar Mice. Right. They just hit me in the feels. The Sugar Mice is about a man he's done the pop star thing. Right. He's gone through his alcohol phase, but he's not done with that alcohol phase. And he sings about, if you call me, that means I'm going to have to speak to you, and I'm going to have to speak to the kids. They're going to realize their dad's a loser. Oh, yeah. And it's very introspective. Right.
I think for me on my list, obviously Close to the Edge, I did actually write a review years ago, is 5 stars. Love Over Gold is 5. And I probably would say Thick as a Brick. I never got a chance to review that on writing, but the others, Yes album is probably a 4. Ashes Are Burning, I would probably rate the lowest. No, I probably would rate brain salad surgery, the lowest. But yeah, fantastic stuff, Jeff. I really appreciate all you did.
You're one of the few people I can talk prog about.
Yeah. So, hey, maybe we inspired some young folks out there to pick up some of these records and give it a whirl, right? But we're just about out of time. Really did a great job here. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Check out some of these records. I know I am going to listen to Peter Gabriel because I'm really interested in some of those cuts. So, hey, please be kind, be gentle, be very tolerant. Remember, kindness is for free. Spread it around as much as you can. It can only make this world a better place. But hey, what do I know about prog rock? I'm just a guy from Paterson, New Jersey. Jeff, where are you from?
I'm from Sterling, Virginia.
Sterling, Virginia. All right. Any final words?
This was a blast.
Good.
I've enjoyed listening to all of these. And now I'm going to listen and really enjoy listening to this one.
Yeah, all your friends, you're going to be world famous, right?
Well, my daughter's impressed because I played a previous one.
Yeah.
And you go, the Wizard Jeff. They're like, that's you.
The musical wizard, the famous Jeff. And we're going to get you back. Let's do something. Let's pick a topic. Maybe the cover art.
Beatles.
Ooh, all right. No. We're going to end this now, but thank you so much. And all the friends. Hey, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now. Thank you so much.